I think this is it. I'm going to open with that. All right, folks. Welcome to the show. 3BGB. I got Dutch Chattahoochee consuming a cruller. If you've noticed anything different, we've attempted to become professional with our lighting. I don't know if there's any difference. We changed out the lens from a 16 to a 25 mil. Some smudges on it we may have fixed. We don't know.
I'm back.
You're back, and we got our classy music going. You can't go too much past 20 or it blows it out. But I think this is going to be a classy show because we're going to talk about a lot of things that are going to make me want to cuss, and I'm going to keep it down. I'm going to give myself a 2 cuss word limit because I listened to episode 20. Thing was absolute gold content. It was beautiful. And then I started talking about Lubies, and I threw in an F-bomb. Oh, snap. Oh, let's open audition while we're live on the air.
That's how we do things here.
Oh, man, you're a genius. So, yeah, I was talking great. We had some good content going, and then I did Lubies, and I just got all excited about my corporate ideas for Lubies opening in Brooklyn, and I threw in an F-bomb every other word. With every word, I had to say effing. I don't want to do that. I want to do that. Well, I'm just going to push record right here.
You're gonna.
That's interesting.
What's that?
Let's see. I don't know if. I don't see the bump music actually going in, which is interesting.
Well, if there's no bump music in the podcast version, then they'll have to use their imagination.
For real? Let's see if I go up on it. I guess it is. Bump music's in Audition.
Cause I think when you record like this, it just records everything in 1 track or 2 tracks.
It must.
Doesn't have that
It's
master
coming through on the
thing.
master. All right. Well, that's the intro music. Welcome to the show, folks. Lots to talk about today in the world of baseball. We've got our specific topics. If you really want to talk launch angle and statistics and the ongoings of Major League Baseball, there's actually other podcasts for that. But we're going to talk. I got some Japanese baseball. There's a couple home run races, both in the MLB and the Nippon championship leagues. And then, we could talk about our music selections because we've got some good ones. And
We have the best selections we've had in a while.
yeah. So if it's coming up in Audition, if I can close Audition, I can see what people think of this. So that was our little classy intro, I don't even know. Can you see us live on YouTube, I wonder?
Yeah, I have YouTube open right now. I always have it open.
What about Twitter? Are we tweeted?
Yeah, you posted it a link and I see it. I'm reposting it right now. Is that what you do on Twitter? Repost, retweet? Right?
I don't really know how that all works, but let's see. I have 303 followers. I finally broke it. Finally broke 300, dude.
On Twitter?
Yeah. So
you said you had how many followers?
303. It says now. Is that right? I don't know.
You're about close to being
about to blow up. And let's go back to Restream there, folks.
Oh wow, 303 followers. Damn.
There we go. We got one watching. I think that's us.
I have 36 followers. I'm close.
It's all good, bud. And we go to Restream. We got the Seguin River Monsters up. Mike G's got some great ideas. But yeah, I'm going to talk some Japanese baseball. I'm going to talk some rules. I'm actually going to talk some MLB rules. But I'm also going to talk, kind of flesh out my anger towards MLB. Because people are like, you talk a lot about baseball, talk a lot about MLB, and yet you say you hate them. It's a broken heart. It's the brokenest heart you could ever have. And that's why I'm going to continue to talk about baseball. And I'm going to be openly. Somebody has to be their worst critic. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
There's like critics, and then there's like these journalists, and Kirkchin and Passan and people
Monster.
that are are going to be. They're going to be legitimately critical. They have jobs, but they're part of the establishment. This here, we are anti-establishment, and I intend to be the number one person who dumps on Major League Baseball, like the worst I'm telling, if you're a talented baseball player, just go play in Japan. Like, don't go to MLB games. Go to minor league games. Don't watch MLB games. It's time to just hate on them. But with that, I'm going to talk a whole bunch of MLB stuff I didn't know today about the rules, which I thought was kind of interesting.
I dove deep into it. I got so many fucking notes on this thing because it's
man.
irritating.
Oh, the new rules are awful. That's your segment is, and I could just riff for. This will be like a 6-hour show. Oh, we do have lunch with Danny OK. I texted him. I was like, dude, Alma City Studios, link up with Danny OK and go get some grub out there. Medical Center. I don't know what's in Medical Center, but I think there's a Chick-fil-A.
There's a bunch of places.
People don't like that.
So when you go, what's that? When's that happening?
Whenever we get done, we'll just text him, say me and Dutch are coming out for lunch. If you haven't seen Who Wants Snacks? Who Likes Snacks?
Who Likes Snacks?
Dude, it's so good. But
especially the HOA manager one. That was great.
So check out Danny OK's channel. But I'm wearing 19 layers, but I'd have my Yokohama D-Now Bay Stars on. This is what you should be following for baseball, folks, right here.
I'm still sticking with MLB, even though these new rules piss me off.
All right, let me get your vibe though on the music that we've uploaded, because we had some scenarios.
Okay.
So we had, I think, maybe this one. That was a classy opener.
Yeah.
Or maybe that wasn't the opener, but we do have some classy. But then
no, that was the opener. That
was
one.
it?
One was opener. Yeah.
We found some disco. I mean, I think there's roller skates involved in that.
Roller skates.
Roller skating.
Maybe some afros.
Yep. This is like, sometimes I'm going to let this one run a little bit, because DeWolf will come up with music where they're intentionally trying to, like, they know you like a certain song and they're like, we're going to copy that. This is like The Hustle. I don't know if you remember that one from the 70s.
No.
But there's some vocals. I always like when DeWolf finds a actual
Vocals.
singer and puts
I'm
her in
always curious if that's allowed to be used on air just because it has vocals. But I mean, it is.
No, it is.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, we got the DeWolf license, so there you go. They're trying to do that little flute riff in the background makes me think of The Hustle. Let's see what this is here. It's a little funkier.
This song you play at their nice successful podcast run. You're just out on the streets, you know what I'm saying?
This is like me walking through MLB executive offices with like a Home Depot rubber mallet, and I'm just nut checking, just tapping people in the nuts as I walk through the cubicles.
But you're on your way out. You just like
I'm just like bang,
you
bang,
just said your
bang,
word. You're like,
bang,
fuck
bang.
you guys.
I'm not crushing them. I'm just tapping.
Yeah.
I'm making everybody buckle over. You deserve this. You work here. You work here. That's that song. And then this one is for, I'm going to give a little dialogue on what the future is going to look like in about 10 years in MLB when we're all living in bunkers and the world is controlled by robots.
MLB is all exclusively robots.
Yep. And then this is more class.
The same people who's been going to the bar for 40 years. The same cocktail bar. Oh,
this is where I'm going to get like a shave with
Frank.
the straight razor, and then you and me are going to like clink martinis and be like, yes, we finally bankrupted Major League Baseball and started our own league in Sardinia.
And we're wearing really sick-ass suits.
Tuxedos.
Tuxedos.
White tuxedos in this?
Custom made, custom fitted, you know?
All right, so there's our bump music. You've got your segments. I'm going to let you roll first, and I might get into a cooler and I got a coffee hidden back there.
So the only reason
Probably cold now.
So the reason I wrote down one segment only is because there's a lot to.
There's a lot to unpack there.
I don't know if we'll get to as far as like our opinions fully on everything,
Yep.
but we'll try to discuss
Yeah.
a good amount of stuff.
All right, let me get a coffee because I got to hydrate for this because I've got many thoughts. many thoughts.
It's gonna definitely piss me off. Like my wife is upset. She doesn't. She's like, it's bullshit. Like I was explaining the she was like, when I was telling her about the bases, they increased the size. She's like, what the fuck?
The bases is the least of the.
Yeah,
bases
but
is the
still,
least of the one.
it's stupid. They say, okay, so let's just fucking go into this. And I'm sorry for my language, but I'm really irritated.
Try to keep it to a minimum. I do listen to our podcast, and I do think the cussing works against us. I mean, we're gonna get picked up by like, John Boy or DraftKings has podcasters and other crazy shit. So, see, that's my one. I just used one. You can use as many as you want, but I'm just saying we got to sell Tide bleach. You know,
I want to be sponsored by Monster. So
that'd be good. But
think
no,
we're-
drop the F bombs because this is a rule MLB rule changes, so it calls for it. But what was it? What do they call? Be judicious with it. Be judicious.
right.
Okay.
So let's do the pitching first.
Okay.
So here's the coming to the rules for 2023,
I
right?
love how prepared you are, buddy.
All right. So,
Sorry we didn't cut this on Mondays.
oh well, it's fine. We're here now. All right. So they're speeding up the pitch clock. All right. So, okay. So if you have no players on bases, no runners, whatever, you have 15 seconds between each pitch.
Okay.
All right. And so check this out. This is probably going to piss you off. So say
I've already lost my mind.
this is going to irritate you. So say you have 15 seconds and you accidentally go over the 15 seconds, the batter gets a ball automatically. So without you even throwing a pitch, ball, right? So stupid, okay? And also, so the pitcher can only step off the rubber or the mound twice per pitch sequence.
Does that include? Is that what you're talking about? You can only pick move twice. 'Cause that can't be right.
That
right?
two or three times, I think. That's
Okay.
what I was reading.
Okay. What's the time limit when there's runners on? You got 20 seconds.
Yeah, when runners are on base, you have 20 seconds between each pitch.
I have thoughts. I'm holding them until you get through the.
So those are the main, I guess, pitching ones.
Okay, well, let's break that. Let's unpack that. I think we should do it rule by rule, and then my head can explode on each one.
Okay, so obviously all this is being done for quicker.
Yeah. Give me the justifications. You're reading those before the show. What are the supposed justifications?
Okay, so
and where are you getting those? Is that an article or is that MLB actually release that?
Different articles like MLB.com, CBS News. I watch some Yes Network stuff on YouTube.
Yeah.
So a lot of these professional people discussing, and
Okay.
so that's where I got all my information.
They're thinking behind this insanity.
So the main one that yeah, it's stupid, but the main one is obviously pace of play.
Okay.
Because some of these rules have been in the minor leagues already for a couple years.
The Bud Selig pace of play.
Yeah, and
fanaticism.
And they said that I think it's like what? It makes the game 20, 25, 30 minutes quicker. So really, I mean, it's not that big.
So yeah, so I can get back to like doing laundry at the house because I wouldn't want to be at a baseball game or watch baseball.
But
Okay.
there are so many people there that don't even watch the game, so why does it matter?
Save me that 30 minutes, please. Why would I want to watch why would I want to be at a baseball game or watch baseball? Of course, Major League Baseball's got it all figured out. Why would I want that? That makes no sense. Like being at a baseball game and getting like, why would you want to be at the stadium? I mean, if you could get it over in 15 minutes, that'd be the best thing you could do, really. But anyway, continue with the justification.
And there's also, it's supposed to be for players' safety, you know, with the bigger bases, but we'll get to that.
Oh yeah,
too.
don't get to the bigger bases yet.
So yeah, so it's supposed to be for
Pace of play.
yeah. It's also supposed to showcase greater opportunities to showcase their athletic
Is that
ability.
the hitting shift one? Is that the justification for the hitting shift?
It's
that
the-
one,
for-
or is it also the pitching clock one? I don't know.
Well, the rules in general are just supposed to like
I see.
pace of play. It's supposed to provide great opportunities for players to showcase their athletic ability. Encourage more balls in play, so more higher averages, right? You would think?
Oh my gosh. Yeah.
And yeah, and it's supposed to just like so basically. So yeah, that's the main reasons: pace of play and a greater chance for players to showcase their athletic ability, which is stupid because like with. Okay, so that's the pitching one. Let's get into.
Stupid is an understatement, but I digress. I'll let you keep rolling with that.
So now let's get to the what do you call it? The bigger bases.
Okay,
right.
let me. I'll respond on the pitch clock one.
You can do that right now. We'll
I'll
get
give
into
my
that.
back and forth on the pitch clock one. So the pitch clock one is one of the rules, and again, I'm not like speaking about any person, any Twitter personality. I have seen some traffic that's like, that's not that big of a deal, you know. They did it in the minor leagues. I didn't even notice it, you know, and that's true because I think they're doing it at admissions games, and it's like you kind of don't notice it a little bit. But my problem with it is, and there's obviously a huge problem if there's like this step off rule. And or like there's no possible way in my mind you could limit pick moves because if there is a limit to pick moves for a base stealer, like you can only pick twice. He's obviously going on your next flinch because you can't pick anymore.
And
Like
see,
that's insane to me that there would be a limit Because sometimes you pick 4 times in a row just because you want to keep a super fast base runner really close to the bag, and he doesn't know how many times you're gonna. This will happen like postseason 1-run ball game, have to win. They just put the pinch runner in. You have got to be able to pick more than twice. I think.
Like I said, I could be wrong on the limit, but there is a limit. I think it's 2 or 3 times.
Yeah, that's insane to me. I mean, I've been on first base. Had to pick 4 times because they're thinking definitely won't come, and they'll pick people like they just getting closer and closer. So I think that's insane. But philosophically speaking, when you talk about a pitch clock, is a clock on baseball is so psychologically, mentally detached from why we are a different sport.
Yeah.
4 quarters in football, 90 minutes in soccer. You've got the basketball 4 quarters in high school. It's like
And you had your shot clock on
there's
that
a
too.
clock that says counting it down, and then it's done, and then you've got your overtimes. Baseball forever has never had a clock. It takes how long it takes, and if you can't figure it out, there aren't any ties. You play in 27 innings until somebody wins the game. And people's like, well, that's crazy. That's absurd. That is what it's supposed to be. It's supposed to be crazy and absurd. And if you get a 20-inning game that goes till like 1 a.m, that's what you do.
But it's a thinking game. So the part of the thinking game is like, you got to guess when I'm going to throw this ball to you, right?
Yep.
Like, let me throw you off. Like, maybe the first time I'll throw it to you quickly, but the second time I might take a little longer to kind of mess you up, take you out of your rhythm, right?
And to use an artistic analogy, okay, so it's like, well, the clock doesn't really change the game that much. You don't really notice it. The pick moves one is huge if that's true, but the clock, I get it. I've been to the games. You don't notice it that much. But to me, a clock in baseball should never have met. They should never meet.
No.
Also, to me, it's like telling Picasso, you'll be like, look, bro, I know you got all those paints and those brushes, but you're mixing, you're over here doing the purple. Just don't waste time with that, Picasso. Just here's 2 brushes, and then here's the red and the blue and the green. Okay, and then we'll give you a little bit of yellow here, but don't just use those 4. You're taking too much time with painting these masterpieces or whatever. It just simplify it for us, okay, Picasso? And Picasso would tell you, be like, okay, I can make it fit because I can mix these paints, and I can still paint something awesome. He can still do it, but it's the idea that you're so effing ignorant as to the art. You're so oblivious as to the art and the difference of what he's doing that you're now saying, and I think, Picasso, I like what you're painting, and that picture that you just painted sells the most. That sells the most. So just do more copies of that. Just do it more like that with these paints and these 2 brushes. Now it's not the art, right? It's the reproduction. It's a business. It's efficiency. And you're losing something. So the clock to me is just a detachment from why I think baseball is different, why I think baseball is beautiful. And there's certain things like you could do as an umpire, like, hey, get back in the box or whatever. And there are certain ways to speed up the game, but the fixation with condensing and rules and quicker, more homers and dingers and offense is completely out of control. I think we went years and years without like these huge cataclysmic rule changes. Now it's like every year we're monkeying with the game, trying to get it down to like 2 hours and 15 minutes with tons of homers. And I'm like, dude, you're missing. They're missing the point. I don't know what to tell Major League Baseball, but I've said forever they don't love baseball. But that's my thinking on the clock.
I'm waiting to the point where they also say, okay, no more managers can come out here and disagree with the call. You have to stay in your little box. The whole game.
That'll be what it'll be, right? Because it'll be robots, and
so
computerized instant replays. So there's no more Earl Weaver moments.
Oh, you don't like the call at second base? You can't come out and you can't disagree with us. We'll decide if it's.
Yeah, it'll go to the booth.
It'll
or whatever.
be like football.
Yeah,
where they'll have a setup in New York and every play is reviewed.
Yeah,
and they'll have it like that. No, managers can't decide anymore. We can.
It'll be challenge flags. It'll be booth review. It'll be super efficient and smooth, and that's great. If efficient and smooth is what you're going for, Major League Baseball, and clearly you are, then you're going to get what you want. But what you're losing is art. And I've always said for Major League Baseball, if you went after our hearts, if you went after the beauty of the game and understood the like the intricacies of the sport and highlight that kind of stuff, you'd still get your dingers and you'd still get your drama because baseball produces perfect drama, perfect postseason drama.
This is where you're really going to get more heated. So
Yes.
when they were discussing the new rules and talking about, oh, this is better pace of play and stuff, they said we're trying to get the best version of baseball out there possible. The best version of baseball.
Best version of baseball.
According to who? That's what I want to know. Who's your source?
And people will disagree with us, and I know there's
absolutely.
people that want, universal DH and all that.
It's
but
the younger people. It's too slow. Don't watch it then. Please, don't watch it.
I mean, I don't know what a pitcher striking out because they suck at hitting is about, like speeding up or slowing. It seems like it speeds up the game, but I don't know. It's just it's part of their overarching, and like they've made no secrets that they don't what their plan is and what they're trying to do. So that is super duper frustrating to watch them continue to do it. But I've already checked out the season, and I'm starting to wonder about like I don't know, man. I don't know if you want your kids to play the sport at some rate. If the pinnacle, like I would want kids to play sport if I thought they could go play in Japan, but I don't know. So anyway, that's a the clock is more philosophically offensive. I think we probably won't notice it that much. I'll really notice it if the pick move thing is true, but and then the base thing, if you want to get into that, I got a few opinions on it, but
all right, let's get into the bases now. So basically they're going from 15 inches to 18 inches.
So 3 more inches.
Yeah. So their reasoning for that is that way it helps with it avoids collisions.
Yeah.
And now the runner is behind the first baseman and the other players.
Yeah.
So they're not like directly beside them. So it helps with that.
Yeah.
But now if you're behind them, they can still a lot better because they can't see them as well, right?
Yeah. And that one's hard to kind of quantify because, and this is another one where I was like, I don't really care about that one that much because I'm pretty sure in like the old timey days, they didn't have these pimp ass rubber bags. They were kind of like canvas sacks or whatever that had like these belts that they strapped to the ground. So the bases have changed. I don't know if the dimensions have changed, and I don't know at what year they put in that sort of like runner's lane. You always see that extra chalk line up the first base line. That was placed there to reduce collisions. So I don't know if the 3 inches are going to do that. And let's say you do have those 3 inches on the bag. Now they're 18 inches. There's no way to like go back in time and say, see this one right here, see this play, this is so close. There would have been a collision there if it was 3 inches shorter. There's no way for us to necessarily know that. If it seems a little bit safer, so be it. I think bases have changed over time. I don't see that being like a huge change to the sport, like shifting or DHs.
Well,
so
it also because of
it's like your friend. He's like shooting heroin, and then he does PCP, and then he like runs on the freeway naked, and then he just like breaks into homes and robs them, and then he comes up to you and he goes, "Hey, dude, I just wanted to let you know, I smoked a little bit of weed before I came to the studio today." You'd be like, bro, that is so far down the list of problems and insane things you have done. I don't care. That's how I feel about them and their bases.
But there's also a slight reduction between the bases now because of the bigger home base.
Right.
So there's
that 6 extra inches.
So between first and second and third, there's 4.5 inches reduction.
Yep. Okay.
So what that means is bases are going to be a little bit easier to steal now.
Maybe. And if you get the extendo mitten that I'm always saying, get an extra.
Yeah.
You know?
Because how many times have you seen a play where it was like was so quickly with the tag, and those 4.5 inches can make a big difference, I think.
The Ricky Hendersons and the Billy Hamiltons, like the 100, like the Vince Coleman's, the base stealers is also kind of like, I don't know if they're being metric by sabermetrics, being like kind of run out of the game, or speed is just not. And Dave Roberts' stolen base for the Red Sox in the postseason when they absolutely needed it. It was such a cool stolen base. So I think there's still a place in Major League Baseball for the base stealers, but it doesn't seem to be as prolific as it was like in the 80s. So I don't know. the base thing is the least of our problems with the insanity at Major League Baseball.
Now the big one is the defensive shifts.
The defensive shifts.
This is the big one in my opinion.
Yeah.
Out of the three, it goes defensive shifts. Number one is the worst.
Yeah.
Pitch clock, base thing.
Yeah.
Right? All right. So the defensive shifts is stupid, but okay. So now basically, you got to have two infielders on either side of the base.
Yeah.
No more just having
And
everybody.
they have
on
to
one
be
side.
like on the dirt or something,
Yeah,
right?
so
They have
basically-
to be.
all infielders must have both feet within the outer boundary. So that means on the dirt, right? When the
That's-
pitcher is pitching. So, and like you got to have, like I said, two people also on either side of the base. So no, you can no longer have everybody on one side
Yeah.
because they don't want people to learn to hit the other way.
That.
Basically,
I
is what they're
mean,
saying.
the.
Also,
Yep.
infielders may not switch sides. So where you are when the inning begins, I believe, I think you have to stay in that
It's
general area.
unbelievable. They're so. I mean, putting a clock on baseball, whether you think it'll speed it up or not, maybe it saves you 20 minutes a game. I don't know what your life is so important that the extra 20 minutes really matters there. But the clock, like I said, is so tone deaf, and this is like tone deaf, kind of exponential because not only like they're trying to like speed it up because they feel it's like too slow or something, like they're trying to compete in their minds with like the NHL or NBA or whatever MLB crack they're smoking, and they feel that they got a monkey with the game, and they're trying to be like other leagues or be like another sport or whatever they're doing, which nobody knows what they're doing. The defensive shifting doesn't even make sense in that sort of comparison because that would be like the NFL saying, all right, guess what? You can only do like man press coverage. You can't do this zone stuff because now you have all these safeties in the middle and they're playing too deep and we can't throw long bombs and nobody can go over the top with all these deep, like Tampa too deep, like it fucks up the game.
It takes away the defensive
That's
strategy.
my second cuss.
It takes away the defensive strategy.
Damn it.
I hate
Yeah.
that. And it also, like I said, with the it allow players not to learn to hit the other way, right? Oh, we can't have it on this side now because we know he can't hit to this side.
Yeah, so exactly. It's and think of it in any sport.
so
It'd be
dumb.
like in hoops. You can only play man in hoops.
No more triangle defense. You can
Or
only-
you're like, okay, here's how soccer. You're only allowed to have 3 defensive. You have to have 4 midfielders and this many forwards. Like you're telling coaches like how to coach. Like you're taking away, like it's a game. GAME, it's a game. We're trying to play to win, and you're saying, yeah, but you can't try to win by doing smart stuff on the field.
They also said that, like I said, it helps showcase the infielder's athletic ability. Also, it increases the average for balls in play.
They're insane because what they want, they're like, well, it's going to showcase the athletic ability because then you're going to get the cool Derek Jeter shortstop play in the hole between third and short where they backhand it and jump and throw it and do all that. And because that's not going to happen anymore because that's center, he's in center field now with the new shifts. I'm like,
But honestly, too, like collisions and stuff like that, and defensive shifts are part of baseball.
yeah,
As much as collisions hurt and are terrible,
Yeah.
when they happen, it's part of the sport, and players know that. So now you're not going to have, with the reduction of collisions, you're not going to get all those crazy plays anymore.
yeah.
Like, oh man, did he tag him out? Like he ran right into him or something.
The trying to get away from shifts, I so much to say about it, but I was thinking the other day about the term shortstop, right? You've got a pitcher, a catcher, a first baseman, a second baseman, a third baseman, a left fielder, a center fielder, right fielder. Everybody's playing a spot that kind of seems assigned to like a base or a field, except for this guy has this little name. He's the shortstop. And he's over there between second and third. And I would guess in the early days of baseball, when you're figuring out where to put your people, you kind of roved anyway. That
Yeah.
dude was just this is like a roving. And then like the Williams shift, where you're gonna put everybody over here because Williams is a pull hitter. I mean, that's kind of historical. You had a game for that. And then when you have the super pull hitters, it created what I love was the guys who have to learn to adjust or do the slap bunts or the chop bunts.
Yeah.
And it created a different aspect to the game and the chess match that I thought was rather interesting to watch. I personally liked it, and yeah, dudes were hitting in the shift, and it's like you can't make the adjustment. You can't make the adjustment because in my mind, I thought that you'd put a bigger premium on some, faster players who could had better back control. In my mind, with the shift still in place, I always thought I was like, there's going to be a guy like Mookie Betts, like kind of do everything.
Yeah.
I was like, somebody's going to hit 400 again, and it's going to be somebody that can rake with power. But you know what I'm saying? Like they can lay one down on a shift. So I don't know, but yeah, it's more.
But it was always cool to see like those shifts where like literally every player was on one side.
Yeah.
That was like so cool to see. Even like the outfielders came in because they knew this guy can't hit it over us.
Yeah. So I don't know. I don't know about like telling people that they can't go play deeper on the outfield grass for certain guys with certain tendencies. I mean, you shift in the outfield. You always you're just shifting. You always shifted.
Yeah.
Their shifting has been around forever. The infield shifting has been more pronounced, but outfield's always shifted on pull guys. You totally give up the line.
Because sometimes you'll see like the center field and like the left or right field like really close together.
Yeah.
It's just cool to see, and like it's defensive strategy.
You got the no doubles defense, and then you
Yeah.
got a situation with runners are on third. Is like, dude, you're gonna have to like if it's like you're gonna have to gun this guy down at the plate. Anything.
What was really cool is when there was a guy at the plate where they're like, okay, this guy's a great bunter and he's fast, so you would shift your players to counteract that.
You got to have somebody up on the grass,
Yeah.
up on the cut,
Yeah.
cut there.
But now I don't know if you're going to be able to do that because you got to have 4 infielders with their feet on the dirt.
Well, the other thing I saw them talking about was, are they going to reconfigure what the dirt is? Like cut out some of the grass and make deeper dirt, or is there going to be like, is there some like regulation that your dirt must be this many feet from home plate? Then it's just MLB getting the game that they want, which is not the game that everybody's trying to play. So, yep. What you gonna do there? MLB's got their ideas, but yeah, the clock on baseball is that insane? It's like telling a painter how to paint.
Like maybe
I need you to make this painting in an hour,
and it's going to take away those pitchers who have that really cool slow kind of setup.
I mean, I don't know. Like it all, because remember when Cora and the Red Sox was like changing a pitcher? There's like constant. They go through like their entire bullpen. They go through like 12 pitchers a game. I mean, I'm kind of like a classic dude in the sense that there was like grew up with a starter like Nolan Ryan went like 7 or 8 innings. If you go complete game, that's awesome. Then you go the reliever, and then we got kind of like middle relief setup men.
I don't like pitch count either.
I mean, pitch count is what it is. I understand that there is some arm safety for these young fireballers, but I mean, Nolan Ryan threw harder than anybody else. He didn't really have pitch counts to deal with, so it's hard to say. But yeah,
well, like every year, I'm just waiting for the outlandish rule that's going to come up. Like next year, there'll be some new rule change for 2024.
Yeah, they're all they're monkeying with it too much.
I want to know who they're catering to and who they're getting their like feedback from. Because to me, it seems like young people who are like, it's too slow. So are you basing it off younger people? Like, where are you getting your feedback from?
I'm not sure. I guess I'm not sure why they're doing it so often.
Yeah.
Because baseball fans are very traditional too. We like tradition and nostalgia and things like that, and it's just like you're shaking the cage every 5 seconds, and we can't. Like, I'm sure there's some people like me who are just like, I'll accept the universal DH and that it's all an American League now. Cubs are American League, Cardinals are American League.
That's easier to deal with, I feel, though.
I can't deal with it. I can't. But like some people maybe could like get past that, and just as they're like calming down and they're done like sucking their thumb and rocking on the corner and say, I will come back to you, MLB. And they're like, here's another idea I got. And you're like, bro.
Like, I've moved on with the universal DH, which I don't like it, but I've moved on.
Oh, man.
But it's going to suck not seeing pitchers hit anymore because you get those occasional great pitching, hitters. Like, I can pitch and I can hit.
I mean, I just liked the American League was the American League.
Yeah, that's what was cool about it.
And the National League was the National League. And it had been that way for long enough time that it was kind of awesome that it was different.
because you get two different styles of baseball.
Yeah, that
Which
was
was cool to watch.
That was cool to me. I
Yeah.
thought that was super cool. And people was like, well, it was a detractor because pitchers couldn't hit. I was like, you could make pitchers hit better if you had a little bit of, discipline with them, a little bit of fire, and told them like, hey, make flipping contact. Pitchers could hit a little bit better than they were, but there was some lack of effort that became accepted. But the other thing is just like, dude, I'm sorry, the Cubs are not an American League team. The Cubs are not an American League team.
Yeah.
The Mets are not an American League team.
Yeah.
The Cardinals are not an American League team, and they are now. They are. They're American League teams. That's flipping insane. The Dodgers are an American League team.
Yeah.
The Giants are American League. Like, I don't get it. It's
Also, I forgot to add this small little minor change.
American League Baseball.
Batters can only have one timeout per at bat now,
Oh, yeah. Well,
which is whatever, I guess. But
it's more of the same. So that's
pretty soon they're gonna say, okay, here's what I'm waiting for in 10 years' time, where they'll say, okay, you know what? All these pitches are too confusing. Only throw all pitchers can only throw fastballs.
well, that's the dangerous thing there.
That's it. Only fastballs, because you're confusing too many hitters with your slider, and we can't have that. So only fastballs.
Yeah. And this is kind of like, and I'm thinking about this. So there was the NFL was trying to deal with,
The NFL.
the NFL.
Okay.
The NFL was dealing with the issues with kickoff because you'd kick it
Oh
off.
yeah.
250-pound men who could run like 100-meter dash speed like Carl Lewis would go sprinting down the field and just blast some dudes, and you're just getting tons of injuries on the kickoff play. And I understand that it's about safety, and then there was all the media with Junior Seau, death, and just like the CTI or whatever, like the brain trauma these dudes were experiencing. So they're trying to figure out how to do that. The XFL, before they went like out of business with COVID or whatever, figured out how to, like, you would kick off from way in the back. But the dudes weren't way back there. They were like up on the 30 or something. And then the NFL monkeyed with it. So there was like, they moved the ball up. So almost everything was a touchback. Everything was like a touchback. And then Belichick was like, dude, if you want to just remove the play, just remove the play. If you think it's dangerous, you can't figure out how to game it, and you start messing with it. And people were like, I don't know, kickoffs were kind of like exciting plays when you run a kickoff back. So
Because you had some players that was like what they did was they were kickoff specialists.
yeah, so
That's
yeah,
how
they're
they showcase.
return. Yeah, they're a return man or something like that. So it was a dangerous play if you had one of those guys.
Like like Hester for the Bears.
Yeah, stuff like that. So and you're messing with these rules, trying to make it safer. Baseball doesn't necessarily have that sort of safety issue.
No.
They have this idea for speeding up the game, which they've been talking about for like 15, 20 years.
Yeah.
And
I've been hearing about it.
it is what it is. It gets to the point where if you're getting it, whatever rules you've instituted under 3 hours, you're gold. Extra innings, just accept that that's just going to be a wild night. For the people at the stadium or the people
It's
watching
great,
it at
man.
home, just get another 12-pack because now we're going to 27 innings, and that's just how that's going to be, and you need to accept that. But I think Major League Baseball, whatever they did, just encouraging players like try to hurry it up. You could get games around the 3-hour mark, and nobody's going to complain about that because baseball is a slow sport. It goes over 3, what you going to do? But the changing of pitchers, that Cora was doing, that's just not going to come up all the time because you're going to get dudes like Walker Buehler or Clayton Kershaw. You're just going to get in scenarios where their dude is dealing.
Yeah.
A dude is just dealing. You're like, you're a stupid manager if you take that guy out because they can't hit that guy.
I think they're
It's just filthy. So like, there's just, but he's like, I don't have that guy in my bull. I don't have that starter today, so I'm gonna do pitcher by committee. He should be allowed to do pitcher by committee. I mean, if you're like changing a dude every batter, well then change a dude every batter. You're out of pitchers by about like the 4th inning. So you're gonna have to figure out, like, you only have so many pitchers. So it's gonna kind of police itself. I think just let managers manage and let the dudes play the game.
I think at some point too they're gonna. I'm sure maybe it has been discussed, but they're gonna talk about innings, maybe changing them to like maybe 7 or 8 innings for a game.
Yeah, because they did the doubleheader where they were doing
Yeah.
7-inning doubleheaders, which
So I feel like too, because like if some of these rules don't really change baseball a whole lot as far as pace of play, they're like, well, Mate, let's try a 7-inning game or 8-inning game. I feel like that's coming at some point.
Yeah, I mean, I think everything's coming at this point.
Yeah, nothing's off the list or whatever.
I could do my future of baseball with my special sound effects music.
Which one is it?
I think it's 5. Let's see what happens here. Is this a weird one?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
So this is your time to shine, buddy.
Let's just see if I can pull this off. Years 2035.
I'm here listening and watching. Go for it. Do your thing.
Years 2035. You're living in an underground bunker. The air is unbreathable. Skynet achieved consciousness.
I'm choking.
You know how to achieve consciousness?
No.
MLB's AI instituted with robo-umps. It realized
I knew it was
baseball would be better without people. It could be quicker. You could create more offense with robots hitting. No robot would bunt because all robots could hit homers. You know, and you got umpires who are never missing a call.
And I get that letter in the mail because you want to say secret. I told you so. And when I read that, I know exactly what you're talking about. And I'm like.
And so what happened is the robots eventually took over Major League Baseball, and they go, no, there's still the human element because, you know, they're back in the dugout with the controllers playing vids on the field. They're controlling the robots, and the robots were like, we're just going to act like they're controlling us, and then we're going to take over the world at the 2031 World Series. And they just went bananas, just like Terminator. They just started wholesale in the Matrix, you know. They started putting you in vats of goop, plugging you in for their power source, just like Keanu. Something seemed off. Follow the White Rabbit. I don't know. And then they just went wholesale. Like, if you're not in a vat of goop providing power for the computers, we're just going to take you out. And just ships flying through the sky, killing everybody. That's really what Major League Baseball is about.
MLB rules, right? The MLB is gonna be ran by people who should be in the movie Idiocracy. Have you ever seen that movie?
Yeah, it's a great movie.
I feel like those
Mike
people.
Judge wrote that movie.
I feel like those are gonna be the people running MLB.
Yep, it's coming.
The players are gonna be the same. Gonna be great athletes, great players, but the people running it are gonna be those kind of people.
Who's messing with numbers the most? MLB. It's a numbers game. They're up there crunching numbers. Like, we can make this game so efficient. We just need to get these computers to think for themselves in here, and that's where it all ends. AI is going to take over the world. Skynet gains consciousness at the MLB executive offices.
MLB, but it's got electrolytes. So they're
Telling
gonna be like, what the hell is electrolytes?
And now what we're doing? You know, we're in the bunker, and we just like Terminator. We have the dogs that can sniff out robots. You know.
Yeah.
So then, like, guy shows up at the gate, looks like Angel Hernandez, and they're like, nope, that's a bot. Dogs go crazy, and it's a huge bot fight. And you know, you're in the bunker because you know it's in the bunker. Batting cages, soft toss. You're in there trying to keep the game alive.
Those have become battlegrounds where we practice our
It's just battlegrounds. You're trying to work on your swing. You know, you got T work happening in the bunker, and then you grab your like 240 Golf machine gun, go battle the robots. That's what's coming.
Get over here now and you start firing.
Yeah.
But you see, you have a question to ask if these robots are real people or robots. You're like Angel Hernandez. How were you viewed as an umpire? Like, I was pretty good. People seemed to like me. Robot.
There was one thought I had on Angel Hernandez. Like, obviously, he's a pretty bad umpire, but like,
pretty bad.
If you want to get to robot umpires, you wouldn't fire that guy. You would keep him on. It's like, if we can keep enough bad blues like employed and make it that part of the game as offensive enough, then we can get to the robo zone. The Robo Strike Zone. And
That's
all that.
the name of the movie, dude. Where baseball's all robots, the Robo Zone.
The Robo Zone. Well, baseball's going that way, but there will be like traditional leagues because I'll always have Mexican League baseball. I can go watch college
Independent baseball will be
Independent
around.
baseball. There are people that can't afford these robots. Pecos League, TCL, Seguin River Monsters. There's all kinds of baseball. So it's like I have enough baseball for me that I don't need to engage with Major League Baseball. But as two faces I am. My segment is about some really weird MLB rules. It all started with a rabbit hole in the Japanese posting system, which I'll go with first. And then I'll just go down some rules that we've all heard, like the Rule 5 draft. You know what that is?
I've heard about it, but I haven't looked too much into it.
I kind of know what it is, but there's like a bunch of rules that I kind of know what they are. So I'm
power
just
of the
going to go through that. But first, let me go through the Japanese league posting system. And here's another thing about there's like an international free agency, international draft. So the Japanese posting system has changed over the years from Yu Darvish. But the one thing that scared me about the Japanese posting system as I read through it is my dream that, because I thought that was interesting when we did our Japanese league segment. I was surprised to find out that a lot of the smaller market Japanese teams like Dina Baystars or whatever, Yakult Swallows, et cetera, I'm not sure who's considered small market over there. I just know that Yomiuri Giants and the Hanshin Tigers, they're good to go. They sell tons of apparel, have tons of fans. The other teams are kind of struggling, and they get subsidized. They get subsidized by the corporations that are their sponsors and that own the stadiums and stuff like that. So I was actually surprised that the professional sport that's the most popular professional sport in Japan is not just crushing it financially. So when they get a superstar and that dude's going to go to MLB, he has a chance to make way more money in MLB, which stinks is why he's not going to stay in the Japanese league and then go to the Insano League. Also, the parent company will get the posting fee for the Major League Baseball team that eventually signs that player.
You need to charge my laptop right quick.
Okay. And clearly, there has been communication between MLB and the Japanese league on how the posting should go. And I don't like the fact that they are so close in, like, I guess, almost a partnership of talking about how we're going to do this. Because in my mind, I want the Japanese league to full frontal attack and try to take some of MLB's market. And that's going to obviously sour things if you get an expansion Japanese league in, like, let's say you got a team in Vancouver, British Columbia, you put another one in the Bay Area, and then maybe do like Vegas or something like that, and then probably like Portland, because Portland doesn't have Major League Baseball or something. You like start encroaching outside of your country, just like the NHL started they put the NHL in Los Angeles, the Los Angeles Kings, and Gretzky came down, and the NHLs all over the U.S. start getting into that market the way the NHL did. I think that dislike of MLB is pretty much at an all-time high, at least for me. And I would watch that. So you just have a separate division over here, and then people got to do like a month road and kind of adjust to the time change and then play all over here and then rotate. And then the American teams go to Japan for a couple months, play over there. And so you're not constantly flying back and forth. It's more of a port starboard season. You have these 4 NPB teams playing on the west coast of America. That's one thought, but they're not going to do that, I feel, because they're too close. They're too close of buddies with MLB, and that's what this Japanese posting thing I'm about to talk about made me think, because they clearly worked together, which I don't like them working together.
Well,
so
most players are going to go for the money, so that's why they're leaving Japan to come here.
So here's one thing. As far as I could tell, the Japanese posting, you had to do 9 years of professional service in Japan before you could request free agency.
That's why when a lot of players, when they come over, they're already like in their late 20s.
That's a long time, right? That's a crazy long time. And I kind of want to look up Ichiro, because I feel like, so for like some of the teams, if you have that guy, you have like the Roki Sasaki or something like that, you can just like get that huge posting fee. But then some of them are like doing, let's see see how many years Ichiro did.
Oh, in Japan.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So yeah, like the Oryx Buffaloes never did the posting with Ichiro. For them in their mind, like he's such a superstar, he's such a draw that to post him, whatever posting fee Major League Baseball would pay at that time isn't worth us milking everything out of him. So he was not posted. He just straight up did. Some of these guys will do 9 years, and I think Hideki Matsui was kind of the same way. The dudes have these full-on careers over there for 9 years. That's a long time before you're a free agent, but that's what it is.
Didn't Ichiro have like 3,000 hits in both leagues or something like that?
He didn't have 3,000
or
hits,
2,000 or something?
but he had, if you add them all up, he had 4,367 hits. So he had 1,000 hits in the Japanese leagues. But if you look up like Yu Darvish, he posted, right? So Yu Darvish time in Japan, if I can get the Japanese, he only did 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So the Nippon Ham Fighters with Darvish posted him after 7, and they're like, okay, we've got as much out of him as we can, but if we let, and I think this must be the math for the Japanese teams with a guy like Yu Darvish, because there has to be some sort of business consideration. If you post a guy after, like 2 or 3 years, maybe he's not like one of your superstars. You're like, because it must be a really bad look for your organization if you're taking the superstar and posting him when you're like, dude, you got him for 2 more years. Are you trying to win or are you not?
Yeah.
So Darvish, I would think if you're the Nippon Ham Fighters, you're like, okay, 7 years, we got him. He's at the top. We only got him for 2 more years. We're in a rebuild. If we post him now, we're going to get this crazy posting fee from whatever Major League Baseball. That was when they had the blind bid system, which they've changed. I'll talk about. Let's get the money because we're going to lose them in 2 years anyway. So I think there's like the Japanese posting considerations.
So it'd kind of be like, I guess, in a sport where like, oh, he's gonna be a free agent next year. We know he's not gonna sign with us, so just trade him or something.
Yeah.
Sort of along, obviously not trading him, but kind of along the same lines of he's not gonna come back. Might as well just get rid of him where we can.
Yeah.
Get the best options or whatever.
So this isn't going to be perfectly accurate, and I don't think people need to fully know, but you can check out the MLB glossary, which is what I'm looking at. It has some really interesting, like kind of like burrows down some of the things you probably always wondered about MLB, like the Rule 5 draft and the international draft and things like that, because that always comes up. And it's just more for me to complain about MLB, but I kind of want to know these things and be educated. But the Japanese posting system has changed a lot. I'll just go back as far as like Yu Darvish was like a blind bid system. So you didn't even know. You didn't even know what the Yankees bid to get Yu Darvish. You just put in a huge number. I will pay $100 million or whatever it is, and that posting fee goes to that organization if you sign that guy. So obviously you're sitting there in Japan, you're opening up the envelopes like, oh, well, the Rangers are the biggest one. You can talk to Darvish. And they talk to Darvish if they don't sign. My understanding is if they don't sign with the Major League Baseball team, you don't get that posting fee. But of course, they are going to sign with the Major League Baseball team because it's going to be way, way more than they would have made in Japan. So that's kind of was like the old posting system. Then they're like, well, that kind of excludes it because the players are, maybe not getting to talk to other teams. So it sounds like they worked with Major League Baseball, which I don't like. And they said, you know what? Here's how all the team, they can talk to all the, I know what it was. Then it rotated to where the team, you're the Nippon Ham Fighters or whatever, you say, here's the fee. They could set it up to $20 million for a player. If you pay the fee, any Major League Baseball team can talk to the guy. So then they were like,
so it's just to talk to them.
Yeah, so like,
okay.
But you wouldn't have to pay it unless they signed with your team. So they didn't like the Japanese league teams. Like, we don't care if it's the Rangers or the Yankees, so long as we don't get a smaller number, So if you had a superstar and you say up to 20 million, I'm assuming if you had Yu Darvish, you would put the price tag as 20 million posting fee, and then the Yankees, Rangers, all these teams, they post their 20 million. You can go talk to him, whoever's contract he signs with. Then that team pays the $20 million. You take it, all the others get the rest of their money back. So,
Okay, I see what you're saying.
you know what I'm saying? So you don't pay it until they sign. But again, they are going to sign because it's way more than they're going to make in the Japanese league. But
It's like some lawyers. You don't pay
so
us if you don't win.
so then they changed it from, the blind bid, and then it was like any team could post up to 20 million. Then they changed it to this kind of like sliding scale, which is what the posting system is now. So, and the posting period isn't all year. Japanese teams decide somewhere there's like a month window from like the first week in November, the first week in December, where the Japanese teams will decide, hey, you're awesome or you're expendable, whatever they can do, we're going to post you. So then there's like the posting list. And now what it is if you sign a major league contract, and now they can talk to any team. So you got posted in the posting window from like November 7th or whatever to December 5th. Now I forget what it is. But it's right there in the winter. Guaranteed value of 25 million or less. The release fee will be 20% of the total guaranteed value of the contract. If you sign a contract between 25 million and 50 million, the release fee will be 20% of the first 25 million and 17.5% of the total guaranteed value exceeding 25 million. So kind of like a little bit less of a pain for that second, like 25 million. For major league contracts with a total guaranteed value of 50 million or more, which I think is going to be most of your superstars, the release fee will be 20% of the first 25 million, 17.5 of the next 25 million, and 15% of the total guaranteed value exceeding 50 million. And then for minor league contracts, the release fee is 25% of the signing bonus. Minor league contract that contains major league terms, the supplemental fee will be owed if the player is added to the 25-man roster. If a player signs a major league contract that contains bonuses, salary escalators, or options, the Japanese team may receive a supplemental fee equal to 15% of any bonuses and or 15% of any option that is exercised. So here's an example. If a major league if a Japanese league player signs a major league contract with the value of $100 million, the Japanese team would receive $16.9 million, which is $5 million for the first $25 million, $4.4 million for the second $25 million, and $7.5 million for the final that goes above the $50 million. So it's kind of this like sliding scale. Anybody can steal a Japanese player that is posted, and it's up to the Japanese teams to decide how they're going to post their guys.
So this is if before their service time is up, right? If you want to.
Before the 9 years, because after the 9
Okay.
years, you don't have any leverage.
It's
They're
free
now
game.
a free agent.
Yeah,
They're
okay.
officially a free agent
That's what I was wondering. I was
under
like, is this
Japanese
before?
law. So that's the posting. That's the Japanese posting system, which I think is kind of interesting.
I think the whole service time is interesting too. The fact that they make these players play at least 9 years here before they can do other options, I guess.
The technicals of running these leagues, as much as I hate the fact that it's a business, I'm fine with it being a business. Once you start monkeying with product on the game, then you're losing me. But I understand you kind of have to have these like labor agreements and free agent stuff like that. And that maybe leads a little bit into, I guess, if I have two more segments to go, Dutch, is I'm thinking, because I want to talk a little bit about, if I could say the guy's name, it's Munetaka Murakami. Munetaka Murakami. Colt Swallows has 55 ding-dongs.
I like how he has 55 on his jersey, too.
Does he? Oh, that's awesome. How about that? He's got 55 homers right now, 20 games left in the season, and I looked this morning, Judge has 57 homers, 20 games left in the season. What do you think about those home runs? Because you got, obviously, the Roger Maris, 61, and then you got, like, Barry Bonds with 73, and then there's, like, the whole Sosa McGuire thing. What do you think about Judge's record?
I think it's great. I think would be the modern day like Barry Bonds type thing, right?
Yeah.
Hitting so many.
Yeah, it's awesome.
And I don't know if anybody will ever break the 72?
73, I think, Bonds.
Yeah, but I mean they're close. Judge could have broke it this year if it wasn't for some of the slumps he had. Now, didn't he get hurt for a little bit?
Yeah, he did.
Something like that.
I'm trying to think if
I think he's on pace to break it. at one point during the season.
Schwarber. I mean, the next closest is Schwarber with 37. So
The guy from the Phillies, right? Is he playing for the Phillies or no?
yeah, he's with Philly.
That's what I thought. I wasn't sure because I know he was with Washington at one point, maybe.
So that's
But,
kind of crazy because it's not.
I think it's
mean,
great.
The baseball bros would, in their examination of different baseballs. I mean, MLB baseball is juice, but then again, you're in the league with all the other guys, and you still have 20 more homers than the next
Yeah.
closest guy. So that's kind of amazing.
There's still some talent involved there.
Dude is locked in.
He's a beast. And he has the coolest last name ever, Judge.
Judge.
Like, the Judge.
88 base on balls too. This season is insane. He's hitting 310.
Yeah.
57 homers. Aaron Judge. So yeah, I hope and it's kind of neat, like we talk a lot about the Yankees because if you're a baseball fan, you're going to talk about the organization. So it's, it's kind of because like Roger Maris, I guess, could have hit 61 with, Kansas City Royals or whatever back in the day. But no, it's always like the Yankees there. You got Babe Ruth and you had Maris and now you got Judge. I don't know what to think of McGuire, Sosa, and Bonds. They're kind of have the asterisks with them. So I think he's chasing Maris. I mean, it's kind of a juice ball.
As you know, I don't consider Barry Bonds' record the record.
Yeah, I mean, we shouldn't. I mean,
that's just my opinion. Hank Aaron is still the king.
I mean, I think Judge is just eating his Wheaties. I think he's a big muscular dude, and we know more about physical fitness and diet. But I don't think that he's using the clear or human growth hormone or whatever or roids. I think in that sort of media market in New York, everybody would be talking about it if there were such suspicions. I just think he's an amazing athlete, and he's about to break Maris's record.
Plus, playing in that town too, in New York, I don't think he would test the story water because he knew what would happen. Especially like when A-Rod, he was a Yankee and all that. That didn't go too well for him.
Yeah, like Giambi and like they'll tell on their own if there's something like that. And I haven't heard anything like that with Judge. So I think what he's doing is really cool. I still haven't watched a whole lot of MLB, but I'm aware, and I think that's awesome.
He's built like a fucking
because everybody's looking at that, and I was like, there's one going on in Japan right now too, and that's a really big deal for Japan because Munetaka Murakami has 55. That's significant because the previous single season record was 55. That was Sadahara O's record. And all records past that were broken by Gaijin, right?
Okay.
So non-Japanese, and I don't really know how to whether it's racist or not. It is Japanese baseball and Japanese culture that it's a big deal that it matters that the dude is not Japanese, but it is what it is. So Vladimir Valentin hit 60. He hit 60.
And that's the record currently in Japan?
That's the single season record.
Oh, this guy's gonna break it.
Well, he's got 20 games to hit 5. That's easier said than done. But, I mean, he's close. And the way the Japanese culture looks at that and how sacred that record was for O and that it shouldn't have been broken by anybody because the ball was juiced for Vladimir Valentin, and they kind of admitted to winding the balls tighter there, and it's a big scandal. But you can't take the record away because he did hit 60 in a season. So I think that they would go nuts if he did hit 61, which would be a cool number because that's Maris's number, and that's kind of insane. So
I'm waiting for it to happen. I'm waiting for that Twitter post to pop up.
Oh man, I'm following. He's got a cool swing.
Post it.
I don't know. There's something about Japanese baseball is so cool, but their windups are different. A lot of the windups and leg kicks and strides, they all just look unique somewhat to Japanese baseball.
Hideo Nomo, was that his name?
Yeah, Nomo had a crazy windup.
Yeah, it was cool. That's what I thought of right away.
So those are two. So those are two interesting statistical things going on. But yeah, I just want to talk a little bit about that because I mean, Murakami is really young. So is Roki Sasaki. So these guys are 20. Sasaki, I think, is 20.
Okay.
No, this guy's 22.
So what you do is you get Aaron Judge, you get that guy, and have a home run off.
That'd be cool, right?
Yeah, like a home run derby just with them two.
Yeah. So
I'd pay big money to watch that.
Yeah, watch Japanese League, not Major League Baseball, but I do hope Judge does it. So those are two cool home run races that are going on right now. And now let's talk about a few things we've all heard We've all heard these things as baseball fans, but let's get down to the nitty-gritty and talk about some really interesting things about Major League Baseball that you should know because you're not going to watch it, right?
So you might as well just listen about
Might as
it.
well just listen about it because you're not going to watch it. So there's all kinds of stuff on the MLB glossary,
Glossary.
if I can say that. One thing I thought was interesting is you've heard of the 26-man roster, the 40-man roster, and all that stuff, and we've heard about that for years. But it's super duper significant as it plays into the draft. So the 40-man roster is a combination of players on the 26-man roster who I think is like sitting there and up at the major league level. And then you've got other dudes that are not on the 26-man roster. They're on the 7, 10, or 15-day injured list. I think once you get like past those injured lists or something like that, then there's like the 60-day injured list. You're not on the 40-man roster anymore. Okay. So just have that in your head. And here's why that's significant. Let's go down to the Rule 5 draft.
Oh yeah, that plays into it.
Because that's the 40-man roster is how you protect your dudes. And you always like hear about like some middle, you see like some like middle reliever coming up. And what it is the Rule 5 draft, which happens in December. So there's a lot of like the winter meetings, like a lot of baseball stuff, kind of like business stuff happens in December. The Rule 5 draft allows Cubs without a full 40-man roster to select certain non-40-man roster players from other clubs. Clubs draft in reverse order of standings from the previous season. Players signed at the age of 18 or younger need to be added to their club's 40-man rosters within 5 seasons, or they become eligible for the Rule 5 draft. Okay, so like if you're a draft pick, you can't be Rule 5 draft. It's like you are still in the organization for 5 seasons. But after 5 seasons, and then 19-year-olds, you have to be protected within 4 seasons. So either you made it to the show, or you're on the DL for the show, or now you're eligible for the Rule 5 draft.
It also helps. I was reading about it, saying that it helps prevent teams from stockpiling like a lot of good young players.
Yeah.
Like they can't just have the whole bucket full of these young players.
Yeah, you can't just like hoard of dudes.
Yeah.
You know, so
That'd be kind of unfair.
and it's interesting. I mean, I guess that's kind of like, and this has nothing to do with monkeying with the product on the field. This is the aspect that I think is kind of interesting, and as a lawyer, where you talk about this sort of collective bargaining agreement, how these things work, like what's good for the players union and stuff like that. So this gives, if you're like not protected on another team can use the draft. And I'd be interested to see is, right, you can't Rule 5 draft if you have a full 40-man roster. So you're probably going into the winter and you're like, we're going to release, like we want to take this guy off our 40-man roster. Now he's available for somebody else to Rule 5 draft, but we have an open spot because we have a guy on this dude in the Cardinals organization. So messing with your 40-man roster is a tactician's game if you want to just play general manager. And I don't know exactly how you do that. If there's like, I personally, as much as I hate Major League Baseball because of this kind of technicals, I'll be more interested in reading press releases in November. So like after the season, after the World Series, kind of look who's being taken off or put on waivers and like off of a 40-man roster and who might be, because like that person might be getting Rule 5 draft. So I don't know. There's some interesting stuff with that. Here's another interesting rule. The 27th man. We've all heard of the 26-man roster, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay, that's the dudes up in the dugout. This is a specific rule, which I think is cool. I always like the wrinkles in baseball. MLB clubs have a 26-man active Major League roster, but are allowed to recall one additional player who is on the 40-man roster to serve as the 27th member for the day of a doubleheader.
Ooh, they get an extra player.
So you get an extra guy for doubleheaders. I didn't really know that, but wouldn't that be cool if you were just like some AAA dude that's coming around and you're like, hey, fly up to Chicago for the doubleheader today, right? And then you like hit
Me?
the game-winning homer. You're like, oh, I'm the 27th man. 27th man hit a homer.
Like one of those double headers where it's like the middle of the week and the games mean nothing.
Something.
Just call somebody
You
up.
just you get one more guy for a doubleheader. I thought that was kind of cool.
Like you're probably not gonna get a chance to play in the pros again, but here's your shot.
But those were some interesting ones. So definitely in the Rule 4 draft, in case you're not, that's just the regular draft. We're getting all the college dudes.
You know, there's a lot of rounds in the baseball draft.
It's down to 20 now, I think.
It's still quite a bit.
It is a lot.
I think it's cool though. It gives
I liked it. I liked it when it was way long because then I was like, I was personally hoping I'd be like a 65th round draft pick, but
it gives
no.
more players chances to get drafted.
Yeah. So, but that's when they didn't destroy all the minor leagues and they had to fill all these like small A-ball teams in Montana and stuff like that. But
I love me some Montana double A ball. Hell yeah. Sign me up, man.
check out MLB's page or clone it and take them down or hack it. But get the information off. There's some really interesting.
Don't hack it.
Whatever you're gonna do, as long as it's not illegal. But don't be a fan of MLB and check out some of those rules. They're really interesting. I'm only gonna read one more, which I thought was kind of cool. That was certainly argued and put together by the players union, but it doesn't get used that much. Because there's the international draft, there's the posting system for Korea, there's all kinds of, we've talked about competitive balance tax and all the different things they go into. But here's the 10-5 rights. 10-5 rights is real simple. It is the player trade veto. Doesn't come up that often because there's so few guys in Major League Baseball who like probably qualify or you would have traded, but players who have accrued 10 years of Major League service, which is a pretty doggone long time, and have spent the past 5 consecutive years with the same team are awarded 10-5 rights. Under these circumstances, a player can veto any trade scenario that is proposed. And an example was in 2017, the Reds second baseman Brandon Phillips waived his 10-5 rights to approve a trade to the Braves.
That dude was a stud for a while too.
Right, so it'll be studs. It'll be guys that are MLB players, MLB vets, and if they've been on your team for 5 years, they're probably a mainstay, and so they should have that right to say, you know what, dudes, I put in too much time for you to ship me and my family off to Milwaukee or wherever they're sending them to. So anyway, random Major League rules. The Japanese posting system was interesting because I didn't really know how it worked. I just remember kind of how it worked with Darvish because it's like a Rangers fan. So,
as my Uncle Joe would say, those were some fun little nuggets.
Those are some baseball nuggets there.
Nuggets.
I have no idea how long we've been streaming for. Do you have any idea over there?
Yeah, I can look it up.
Maybe Restream tells
us.
It's
an hour and about 12 minutes.
Oh, you're doing good.
Yeah.
Let me get you. Do you need some disco music in there? Just while we're like talk over some music, give people a break. While I get into a donut. There's that one. What do you think? But I had some other stuff here. Oh, I got 2 books up.
Since we just talk about whatever on the air, I'm just going to start talking about personal stuff.
Yeah.
Before we go to lunch later, I need to stop by the camera exchange store.
Okay.
It's off of San Pedro, so it's like.
All right. If you want to hold us up, we'll be at the camera exchange here in a few hours.
I just need to grab something real quick.
It's all good. We'll go see.
I feel like you need to see it too. It's pretty cool.
Yeah.
You want to find some useful. You might find some useful equipment you didn't know you needed until you see it. You know?
Okay.
They have one in San Antonio and one in Austin. We're clearly not going to Austin, but I figured, shit, might as well just talk about it.
I'm excited. I love shopping.
It's just I'm getting for my camera I have. I'm getting a cage for it.
Yep.
So, you know.
I like it.
Yeah.
Let me run through some baseball Twitter highlights. I'll pull up that in OBS. Let's go over here.
I like the music we have rolling here.
It's weird. Let's go to a different one. We got some disco. Let's do some some classiness.
There we go.
That's Twitter music right there.
I was thinking the other day.
Let me go like this.
I wonder if you can hear it on the live
window
stream.
display.
You might hear the live stream coming through my mic because I'm gonna actually. Am I mic 1 or mic 2? I can never remember.
There's me doing some of my best work with that turtle. But isn't that a beautiful shot right there? Check out this sunset, Josh Ellis. It's gorgeous. And see those yellow uniforms right there? I actually think that's the CPBL in Taiwan. But shout out to, well, first of all, the Mozart group, because I'm looking at the logo. I don't want to block you. I'm blocking you right now. There we go. I'm not blocking any of us now. But
I just wanted to listen to the live stream to make sure the music was playing.
we still got, is it playing?
It's very faint. Let me turn it up just a little.
Okay. Do our little Twitter run through episode, but that is the CPBL, I believe. I'm guessing there, but is it coming through, bud?
It sounds great now.
Sounds great.
Yeah.
So Mike G said, you know, it'd be hella fun. Oh, by the way, do you and your wife want tickets to the Missions game tonight?
Not sure if we'll be able to go.
Okay. I've been asking around.
You know what? I'll actually text her.
Just text her right now, Miss Raymond, if you want to go. We only got 2 left, but Mike G was saying, you know, it'd be sweet if you get the Seguin River Monsters to do a couple dates at Nelson Wolf Stadium. And that's what those yellow uniforms make me think of, because he's like, man, if we got the Savannah Bananas out here to play the River Monsters, that would be sweet.
So I just sent the text.
All right, we'll see what she says. I don't want to retweet in here. Oh, that's the, if you want to know what the training room in the Mexican League looks like, that's the Leones de Yucatan training room. Go through here. Here's some Ukraine getting liberated. Whoops. Let's go right back here. Got this.
Hey, University of Washington State. Okay.
WBC is going on right now, World Baseball Classic, and I think it's being played September 16th to the 21st. Oh, no, it's coming up. So this will be cool. Check out the WBC. It's not going to have a bunch of major leaguers, but you got a bunch of foreign teams like Spain and Germany. So I think that'll be a lot of content for next week. And it's being played in Germany, I believe. They have a really cool baseball field over there.
Baseball's great, no matter where it's played, what time.
But I was surprised. I'll bring up images of the stadium for the next show, but there's this, it's like, man, that's like a AAA facility in the middle of Germany. This guy's a great follow if you like Japanese baseball. He's got some good stuff. But there's a cool home run on here I'm trying to find. I always retweet. Oh, check out this guy. This music's perfect for this. This is Brother Matthias. Brother Matthias was like, I don't know, Ruth was like, his parents were like bartenders. It sounded like they weren't the best parents in the world, and he kind of got scooped up and put into orphanages. And of course, orphanages in many cases.
Oh, I saw that picture. Yeah.
Were run by, the diocese or however, it was like a Catholic orphanage or whatever. But this guy, this Brother Matthias, was this. Look how Ruth is huge, right?
That's classic Ruth, I think.
Yeah, but we know how big of a person he is. Look how big Brother Matthias is compared to Ruth.
He's like the two sides.
That dude must be 6'5". How big is Ruth? Like, that dude is a monster. If Ruth's a big guy.
He's 2 times the size of Ruth.
But he's a big dude, and Ruth said that's who he modeled his swing after. He's like, we played baseball and stuff, but I remember seeing this.
We played baseball.
This Brother Matthias guy hit when we were little kids in the whatever orphanage schoolyard, and the dude could just rip. Dude was jacking homers. And he was probably wearing that same outfit, right? He's probably wearing that same. Like, the priest isn't going to change into his PE clothes. He's going to wear his priest stuff and take some hacks. Crushing bombs. So that's a Brother Matthias thread. Oh, here we go. This is Munataka Murakami going for 55 right here, folks. Oppo. What a shot. That's why you watch MPB. Here's Bruce Maxwell getting ready for Bruce Maxwell, I believe, is on the German WBC team, but I have a Bruce Maxwell autograph because he was playing for the Arcereros.
Oh, shit.
We went down there with Liam, and we were getting like some players to do autographs at Nelson Wolf, and he was one of the guys nice enough to come up and give Liam an autograph.
Right.
I think he was in the Oakland A's organization. There's Justin Halpern at the Emmys, and then we got more Ukrainian stuff. You want to watch a jet fly over freeway. Oh, and here's another one. This guy quit his job as R&D for the Rockies. What he doesn't want to say is because of his horseshit, MLBs lost their soul. Here's MILB Hatbilly's latest installment. I got to watch this
Lost
next.
their soul.
Talks about Tommy John surgery, and if MIL Hatbilly is doing anything, he's doing it good, and he's doing it in depth, and it's funny. Cam Miller's film, Riverfront Remembers, out. Oh, here we go. This is my last thing for the Twitter run through today. This is the most beautiful leg kick. This dude's stride is a thing of beauty. They'll show it again. But watch this dude's stride foot. It's kind of like a step and a kick. I don't know if you can see it over here. But
I like this music. It fits the highlights perfectly.
it does. That's when you're doing a run through. When you're just doing a little run through.
When we had a classic filter.
Yeah.
Classic film filter over this.
But yeah, watch this. It's gonna come. It just replays, I think, on Twitter. This leg kick. It's so awesome. I love that leg kick.
I thought that was Troy
Hochaka
from the
Yamakawa. I don't know if I can talk.
Oh, that was cool. Yeah,
You like
way
that? Just
out.
little
Yeah.
kicks it out.
That's kind of like a what's his face's kick that you always do.
I love it. If we could go to DBAT and work on a stride kick as cool as that, man.
I'm just doing this. I'm just putting it up little by little.
Nobody has a stride that cool in Major League Baseball.
Definitely not.
And that's it, folks. That's the Twitter roundup. That is the Twitter roundup. We'll fade that down. And I don't know what else I got for you today, folks. We went really long. We haven't called in anybody, but I don't know if anybody's in the chat.
Nope.
But NPP card guy. Ooh, I should show you. I don't think I can pull it up. It's on the other computer, but I'm working on a magazine cover for the baseball zine we're going to put out. So that's lots of fun. But this is interesting. Check this out. So NPB card guy says, realized he has Japanese baseball cards of all three dudes that appeared on this 1972 Topps card. Yeah, Ben Ogilvy, Ron Say, and Bernie Williams all went to Japan. I was like, that's kind of a random fact. That's pretty interesting. And
Is that Bernie Williams? Is that like Bernie Williams' dad or something?
Oh, I wondered about that as I was looking.
'Cause I'm trying to look like the face, and they don't look too familiar, so I don't think they're the same family member or related, but who knows?
I don't know.
That's my papa.
Hershiser, Crazy in 08 are my books I'm featuring today. Hershiser will tell you a lot about pitching, that's for sure. And if I go to Restream, I can get up and shout out to the Mozart group because there's two big things outside of baseball. I would mention is some good things are happening in Ukraine. Massive offensive, counteroffensive by the Ukrainians, pretty successful the last few days, and they're trying to consolidate their gains there.
They're not taking no more mess.
Well, the whole thing was just unnecessary death. I don't know what Putin was thinking, but it's certainly backfired as far as his end goals. And what he's done is destroy a lot of lives and a lot of cities and a lot of his own equipment and destroyed his country's own economy and turned everybody and nothing. Russian people are great. They're just suffering with a dumbass leader. And yeah, it's sad. The whole thing's sad, but the Ukrainians getting a lot of their country back and liberating it is good to see. And that's why I like to highlight the Mozart group, because Andy Milburn's over there doing some good stuff, training people for the fight. So definitely appreciate them. And the other one is the Ethereum merge today, folks. If you're into crypto, the crypto show is pretty much dead, but it's a huge day. I think people look back on this particular day and be like, oh yeah, that's when that happened. But it is merge day, I believe. So that's huge deal in the crypto world. Big step forward.
I know negative.
I won't explain it, but I guess blockchain is unique because you can't really kill it. You know, like you can come in here and smash these computers and whatever I got on that's gone. Except for I've crypto wallets or whatever, that's never gone. You just get another computer. You know, if you can get in your wallet, you always have your stuff, and it's pretty interesting as far as like transactions and ledgers and record keeping. It is a technological step forward, and I think we will all be using it. But the problem was mining. You have to have tons of these computers running this algorithm.
Yeah.
And that's super energy consumptive, and that's how Bitcoin does it, and that's how Ethereum does it up until today. now you can run a validator client on a little computer just like we got here. And I'm all about that. So it's pretty interesting day. But other than that, 1:30. What else we got, bud?
That's. But you want to hear a funny story? Totally random.
Yeah.
So I have a class on Tuesday. It starts at 12:30.
Yep.
So I woke up yesterday at like 9,
Yes.
and I'm chilling, eating breakfast, watching TV and stuff. And I'm thinking it's 10:30, and it's like 11:30, and I had no idea. So I'm thinking, oh, I got plenty of time before I have to go to class. And I was almost late because I thought it was 10:30 as opposed to 11:30. So I'm just there taking a shit, looking at my
You know what that
my-
is?
what?
Oh, go ahead. Keep going. I was going to tell you.
Looking at my phone, I'm about to hop in the shower and everything. I was like, oh, I got time. I'm like, oh, it's already 11:40. I need to go. Like,
You know what that's like?
no.
It's just like Doc Ellis dropping acid and LSD.
But you know what I mean? No, I thought it was 10:30. It was really 11:30.
He didn't think he was
like,
pitching
what
today.
the hell?
He didn't think he was starting today. He was going to drop some acid. And there you go. The next thing you know, you're in class, and next thing he knows, he's on the mound warming up. And that's how that goes. And I forget. I don't think I had any corrections from last. I didn't have any corrections from. Let's see. The only other thing I guess I do want to maybe I could talk a little bit about the magazine and some of the stuff we got going in there. But longest home runs, Yakult. So Murakami's going to be in the postseason for sure. Dina Bay Stars, right up there near the top of the standings. And then the Pacific League, which has the gross designated hitter. But they're still doing it. But yeah, it's going to be postseason coming up for the Nippon League. You can watch that instead of Major League Baseball or, the Mexican leagues. Keep track of their postseason coming up.
I wonder if any of the independent leagues or the Pego leagues teams have like live streams that you can watch.
Yeah,
I would say check those out if possible.
Pecos League's got some good stuff going on, but they're not as prominent on the social media, right? Because the one guy we talked to,
I haven't really seen a whole lot posted.
well, because that guy was doing the Weimar Hormigas thing, and then he just handed it off to Mr. Dunn. But Patrick Dunn, if I could ever get a hold of that guy, is kind of a legend in my mind. I think he just does, and it's probably financial limited, but he has to wear like 50 hats. You know what I'm saying?
Course,
He's doing everything.
A lot of those
So-
independent teams are like that, where the owner or whatever has a lot to do.
Well, Mike G and
Yeah, I
Scott
was gonna
B.
say, yeah.
Without guys like Louis Solis and Mike Perrin and stuff like that helping, you can't get it off the ground. But man, it takes a village to get baseball going, and MLB's just trying to kill it at the minor league level. That's for sure.
I was debating about this yesterday about buying a megaphone for
Yeah.
the Seguin thing, and me becoming like just going out there and talking to people and being like the hype man, kind of like the guy was originally before he stepped in the booth.
Oh yeah, Jeremy the Juice.
Yeah,
Jeremy the Juice
'Cause
was
I'm
a
like,
good hype man.
I have no problem talking to people and just talking in public. So I was like, if there's nobody doing that, I was like, maybe I could see or try or something.
Oh, here's interesting. I can turn anything back to baseball.
I just thought that'd be a cool thing to do out there with a megaphone and stuff.
I'm glad you mentioned that because you know who is out there milling around is Gil, the River Monster.
Oh yeah,
Gil the River Monster
two different people, by the way.
is a great mascot.
I agree.
And
I like the little hat that he has on too.
yeah, and Mike G, I can't tease it, or maybe I can, but Mike G he's like, do you think I should do some NFTs, which is sort of like a digital art that got hot last year and usually is on Ethereum blockchain, but it's just like there were some teams, I think a Pecos League team around Houston, the Apollos or something, sold NFTs, baseball cards of their players. And I told him, dude, absolutely do NFTs because it's a zero loss game. You're just making art in like Photoshop or however you're making it. And then if you sell it, you sell it. If you don't, you don't. You didn't really like, it's not cardboard, You're selling a digital image. So I was like, definitely sell NFTs for Seguin River Monsters.
I think Gil would look cool in like a cartoon or comic book style.
It was
NFT?
cool. It was great. I don't know if Mike did it or what, but it was a great, it was a really cool NFT of Gil the River Monster.
Oh, shit.
So yeah.
that's
do
gonna be
some-
the most.
I mean, it'd be
wanted one.
cool if you could do it from players and like digitize it. But yeah.
That'd
do
be
that.
cool to have some Seguin River Monster baseball cards.
Yeah. So I think so. Or definitely some NFTs in my NFT collection, So get some baseball. I have a Hank Aaron and I can't remember what other baseball NFTs I have. Maybe that's the only one I got. But I had to get a baseball one. It's kind of a ripoff of like a 1956 Topps, but it's still in whatever. I
So
like.
weird
I
pumpkin.
like. It was. It was.
They had the best designs though back then.
They had some cool old baseball cards. I like that their Tops is doing the retro stuff.
Yeah, I always try to find those first when I go to a card shop. Those are the first ones I look for. Is a modern retro look. Just because to me that screams a baseball card.
I got a sweet pack of Donruss at GameStop.
Dunross are cool. Yeah, I think
They
you got
don't have
this-
the rights to the logos,
Yeah.
which is good because it's like don't pay.
but they're still great cards.
Yeah, don't pay MLB anything and just take pictures of dudes and then like use Photoshop and smudge wipe all the logos off.
I bought the versions for this year, and they're all like classic designs. They're fucking great.
In fact, now that I think about it, I might be exclusively a Donruss collector because they're
There's
not.
value.
Well, they're not giving money to MLB.
yeah.
Anybody
I
who's
see
not
what you're saying.
anybody who's not supporting MLB is what I should be involved with. So I'm like maybe just Donruss exclude. Maybe we just need to have a big Donruss logo up here and say, dude, that's the card you need to be buying because they're not supporting
if you
Major League
look at
Baseball.
them, they're still quality. I mean,
Are those my Donruss?
yeah,
Oh,
they're
those
still
are
quality.
They're
Like
sweet.
they have the pictures, the stats, a little random information about the guy.
And the cool thing about Donruss is there's like old dudes in here. I got like a Lou Brock.
But also, I saw the brand. What is it? Panini or whatever.
Oh yeah.
I saw that on a Japanese wrestling match. I saw the logo and then I was like, okay.
Yeah,
Ballers.
Japanese wrestling. I mean, this is in. I don't know if Donruss always does it like this, but there's we're like 50 dudes in here. I got a Stan Musial.
Here you go. That's where I got a cool Babe Ruth card. Was in there too. It was a Babe
I got
Ruth.
an old Piazza, Mike Piazza, who's like 60th round.
You know what? I can't remember his name, but I got a really cool picture from the Negro
Look
Leagues
at that
back in the day.
look at that Jazz Chisholm. That's sweet.
Yeah, it's like shiny. Yeah, these are cool cards. Like I buy them all the time. Plus they're like cheaper than the other ones.
Yeah.
But they're not.
They do this weird stuff like the Diamond Kings. You know?
They're cheaper, but they're not.
Look at that
cheaply
one,
made,
Jacob
you know what I'm
DeGrom
saying?
Marvel. Yeah, no, they're great cards.
Yeah, this Marvels one. I have a Fernando's Tatis Jr. one of
Yeah.
this Marvels. It's pretty cool.
That's pretty awesome.
Now Jacob DeGrom's a beast. Was it the Mets? Yeah.
All the cards are good. Look, I got a Willie McCovey. I
That's
mean,
the key-
that's cool.
the
Those
Giants,
look, I
that's
got a
a-
Rod Carew.
I
I got a Rod Carew playing first base with the Twins. Brooks Robinson.
I don't have some cards that aren't worth nothing.
I
but
mean, I know they're only like 5 cents, but
I
want to
I want to send them off to get graded just because I want to have that packaging of it of being a graded thing.
And there's my Lou Brock. So here's the cool part also about like the way Donruss is doing that, right? So baseball cards, I don't know if it's an old man's game, a young man's game, but to mix up the old dudes in there with the young dudes is there's probably like some like young collectors and like I don't even know who Stan Musial is. And then they like get that card and they're like, "Oh, Stan the man, dude, that guy ripped."
Satchel Paige, who's
You know, and they start learning baseball history through collecting Donruss only collecting Donruss.
Because the thing about Donruss is really cool is like their older players are like in every pack.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like with the other ones, you every now and then might get a really cool older player.
And somehow tops, I do like the MPB
Also-
tops. Yeah, go ahead.
Also on Donruss, a lot of the cards they have, you'll get a pack where you'll have the guy's name, but you don't have his nickname, too.
Yeah.
Like I have a not Doc Gooden, but the guy from the Pirates they called Pops.
Willie Stargell.
Yeah, so I have a card that says Willie Stargell, and I have another one that says Pops.
That's awesome.
So yeah, that's really cool.
So that's this moment in the collector's thing. And the other thing I would say is like you have two options to Japan, and shout out to the NPB card guy whose article will appear in the magazine. I'm actually getting closer with that. I'm excited to show you the cover because it's cool. It's
I'm definitely gonna be doing a featured baseball card of the week. Like
Yeah.
my favorite card that I got.
But there is, as I learned, BBM. BBM is just exclusively does Japanese. Tops does Japanese leagues cards, but they also do Major League, and I think that they are giving money to Major League Baseball. And this is a side note on because I think at this stage we do have to consider Major League Baseball front offices and executives possible. I'm not saying it is possible relationship and connection to Satanism, some sort of underground
MLB?
secret to society. I mean, I'm not saying it's happening. I'm saying you have to consider it at this point based on the decisions they're making for rules.
I feel like considering something is always a nice way of saying I believe it's happening.
Well, like you ever see the Da Vinci Code? You know, stuff like that, kind of
no.
like secret
I
society.
know the story. I just don't never seen the movie.
I just don't know what is driving MLB's decisions that seem to make no sense as far as loving the sport of baseball. So I'm just that's a side.
And I have a friend who's a Freemason, and if they were working with MLB, he wouldn't tell me.
Yeah.
I tried to get stuff out. Like, what do you guys talk about? He goes, well, you'd have to be one to know. I was like,
so
okay.
I don't know if they are robots. They've already achieved consciousness. They're trying to take us down like that. If they're Russian agents working for Putin, or if there's some sort of like anti-societal, like I don't know. I mean, I think like, you know, people that worship Satan are like, we must destroy Earth or so, whatever decisions.
I think
they're born from.
I think
they're like the seed for why they're doing what they're doing seems destructive to me, and you have to consider nefarious motives at this point.
What they are is they're secret agents who work at baseball card shops. Because they'll ask you, hey, have you seen the new rule change in MLB? What you think? And as soon as you tell them what you think, they report it back to their boss.
I don't know what.
So they're coming for you, man. So be
It's
careful
sad.
what you say.
It's sad to say, but most baseball fans have no effing idea what Major League Baseball is up to. We don't really know what they're
Like
doing.
I said earlier, man, every year is going to be a new rule change. Every year.
Don't think you need to do that, MLB, but you could be trying to destroy baseball.
Here's
Actually,
what
might
we'll
be
do.
Your plan. Might be your plan.
Don't wear baseball helmets anymore because it destructs the view of the catcher.
Well, that was an interesting. This is a random thought, and then we'll wrap it because I'm just blowing out my ass. This is the last point that I can think of, and then I'll stop talking. So you're trying to ban shifting and all of this stuff. Somebody was like reading the rules and be like, what if? Because they were talking about you don't have to catch the third strike. They're taking away that rule. You know, it was like if you dropped it, you could run down to first. If the catcher dropped the ball, and they're like, no, that's just like a waste of time. If you strike out, you strike out. The catcher doesn't have to catch it. And then somebody was like, okay, well, if the catcher doesn't have to catch it, then why don't you take the catcher from out behind the plate and then put him out in the outfield? Because nobody doesn't have to catch it. You just have the catcher now like playing an infield position or something like that. And I go, that's that's interesting. Somebody should probably do that if they just keep monkeying with rules. Because they're going to do that one.
You know what started this whole mess, this whole downhill, like rolling down the hill thing?
It's hard to pinpoint, but
it was the day they said, you know what? No more pitch outs. If you're going to pitch them out, just automatically walk.
Oh, the automatic walk rule, speed that up.
That kind of started this whole thing.
Well, I mean, I don't know where it all started because it started with Bud Selig's annoyance with how long baseball games were. But then that was like one way to speed up. And it never happened except maybe once or twice where the dude would get it too close and they'd hit it, you know, or they'd throw it away to the backstop and everything would go sideways. But, you know, whatever. That one, I don't know. I don't know what to tell you. I just throw 4 balls.
Because it was cool. Like sometimes when they throw them out, they would still try to swing sometimes.
Well, the other thing you would do is
Guerrero,
the intentional walk, where it was like Barry Bonds would get the unintentional. It's like, I'm going to pitch to him, but I'm just going to throw like sliders a foot off the plate. If you want to swing, but that's how I'm going to give my 4 balls to you.
It was cool to see, though.
It's part of baseball, so they keep messing with it. But anyway, I appreciate you coming in, Dutch. You ready to go? It's 11:36. I really hope we're recording an audition. Let's take a look.
If not, we have the YouTube up.
Well, yeah, I did take the audio off. I'll let you pick outro music. You can just like filter through it.
Here's what we'll do.
Unless you got any saved rounds.
Here's what we'll do. I forgot what's on here.
Drinking blue antioxidants.
I'll go pick another random number, and we're gonna go with that one. All right. Don't
do 5 because that's the end of the world one.
We'll do 2.
Okay.
2 is 2 because
I think 2 might be disco.
we're gonna find out. You know what? Let's do 3. Actually, forget it. 3 is the final choice. All right, we're doing 3.
All right. We can just talk over the tunes as we go out. Oh, nice. That's the hustle one.
All right.
Let's see where we're at. We can't go much past 20, though.
Well, I know on the live stream I had to turn it up a little bit because it wasn't as loud. So before we close out, I'm going to go showcase a baseball card on the camera for the people to look at before. So it was nice doing this episode.
Appreciate it. And while you showcase that, I can tell about some random facts I heard.
All right, let me go showcase this great player and great card to the people.
Okay.
All right.
I'm talking about Jim Edmonds. If anybody saw that news story, Jim Edmonds, awesome center fielder for Angels, Cardinals. Guy was amazing. Let's see what that looks like. I don't know if that's way too close, dude. She's just ramming it in there. You got to back off, man. Now we can see that. You got to come out a little bit. Yeah, right there. Up one. Right there, Jess. Just flex it back and forth because the lighting's getting it. You can even come out a little bit more, dude. This is going to look funny on the last. There you go. That's good. Here, I'll get back there. But Edmund's wife, attractive young lady, appears to be younger than Jim by quite a few years. I think she just divorced him, and then for 4 weeks or 4 months, I don't know. I think she married the president's nephew after like 4 weeks. But it's baseball news. It's baseball related, so I'm gonna talk about it. All right, folks, thanks for tuning in.
We appreciate it.
If you want to support the people of Ukraine, check out the Mozart group. They're doing some good things. Otherwise, throw your money at the government. Don't give any money to Major League Baseball. Please check out the Japanese League home run race. And we'll be back next week, hopefully, with maybe some World Baseball Classic stuff.
More video content coming soon too.
Oh yeah, get our shorts filmed. All right, I'll fade it out and close it up, bud. I gotta hit stop on both. Thanks, Dutch. You the man.
Yes, sir.